Hello everyone, and welcome to a new tutorial I'm doing. This is for Unreal Engine, and this is how to install Unreal Engine. I'm going to go on a bit for why I'm doing these tutorials. So on your bar at the bottom where you can scroll through, just skip past this if you don't want to listen to me. Anyways, why I'm doing these tutorials. So, I love game development. I'm studying it, and I'm going to go to university, or if you're American, college, to study it even more. I love it a lot. I first started out in Unity, and now I do Unreal Engine. The reason why is because the course I'm doing right now uses Unreal Engine, and I've fallen in love with Unreal Engine. So there's a lot of tutorials for Unity, and there's quite a few tutorials for Unreal Engine, but I want to make more tutorials for Unreal Engine, things that I've struggled with, and I've not really found a lot of help for. Things I feel would be really cool to make. Just random things, but also the very helpful things. So, I know I'm not very consistent on my tutorials, I've got some Java development ones, but I don't have the time for Java anymore. I don't program in it anymore, so I struggle to have that. But Unreal Engine I work with all the time and I'm practicing all the time, so it wouldn't hurt to make a it wouldn't hurt to record a video of Unreal Engine because it still gets me to practice it, so it's good in the long run. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into uninstalling? No, sorry. Let's get into installing Unreal Engine. So, first of all, you're going to be on your Epic Games launcher. Now, if your Epic Games launcher doesn't look like this, you're either in the past or the future. So, if it doesn't look like this and it's different, then, yeah, I don't know. There should be an Unreal Engine button somewhere, though, hopefully. If not, hopefully you can go here and right-click your Epic Games launcher and go to Unreal Engine, if that's still a thing. So, that will take you to the Unreal Engine page. Now, getting to your library from here. You don't want to click this library. This is your games library. You want to click this library here. This is your Unreal Engine library. Now, here you're going to have to install Unreal Engine. So I've got 4.26.2 installed. Now, it might look a bit big. That's because I've got some other things done, because for the work I do, I have to have editor symbols for debugging, and that's like 30 gigabytes. I've got all these ticked off as well, so I use as little space as I can. But yeah, I still have to use quite a bit of space. So, installing Unreal Engine. Click this plus here, and you'll be granted with all the versions here. So there's 4.27 Chaos, 4.26 Chaos at the bottom, and then you've got all your very old versions of Unreal Engine 4. You'll notice that you won't be able to access 4.0.0. It's the highest version of that, so versioning, I believe, uses semantic versioning. So major, minor, and then the other one. So it's that version. Or is it major something minor? I don't really remember. Either way, we're going to be using 4.26 for all these tutorials. So if you already got that installed, that's good. If you don't, obviously you'll find 4.26 here. So you can just hit that. Now, obviously I'm going to install 4.27 here for use, but install 4.26 instead of 4.27. Now, instead of just slamming install and jumping ahead, and if you've already done that, just cancel it for a minute, what you want to do is you want to hit options, and you want to untick these, unless of course you're going to be doing stuff like that. If you're going to be making mobile games, keep Android. I believe we can't build for iOS unless we're on Mac, but we might be able to, so keep it maybe. And then if you're going to build for Linux, keep that as well, but I don't tend to, because I like making games for my friends. I've not published an actual game yet, because I don't have the time for that. But yeah. So you can untick these, and that will shorten your download size to 8 gigabytes. I'd keep all of these, because we're gonna, of course, starter content will be extremely helpful. Same with the templates, they will be immensely helpful to you. And then the engine source is just even better when you're doing your C++ stuff. So if you're programming in C++, keep that. but I'd keep it anyways because browsing debugging code easier, so just keep it. So yeah, when you've done that, you can just hit apply instead of the X, sorry. So you want to do all these at the bottom, then hit apply, and then you can choose where to install it. Obviously I'm not going to install it, but you know. Then it will come up in the downloads at the bottom left, and you'll have a task, and it will be installing Unreal Engine. Don't mind that. And when it's done, you'll have this. So now you'll have Unreal Engine installed. What do you do now? So there's not much really to do, but we're going to go through IDEs. So IDEs is what you use to edit the C++. Now, if you're going to be someone that makes, I guess, basic games, you don't really need the C++, or even, not even that. Sometimes you'll need it, but it tends to be, like, if you're not going to get that complicated. But I kind of advise that you don't shy away from C++. Even if you originally make your project in Blueprints, I'm pretty sure you can then change into C++. It's not the end of the world. There's always a way around it. So let's get into that. So first, you're going to be wanting to install, let me bring this over, sorry, Visual Studio. Oh, Visual Studio. If you don't want Visual Studio, you can use a software called Rider for Unreal Engine. This is what I use. Now, I use Rider because there's a thing in IDEs called IntelliSense. Now, that's your recommendations for programming. So it recommends you like what to do next or what's the function you're trying to type in. I really like that when programming. It's just much better, easier. And if I've forgotten the name of something, I can be like, is it like this? And then it, like, you know, corrects for me and whoa. So yeah. But you can get that. You have to join an early preview. So you join that and then fill out this entire thing. I get it with my student license. See, that helps a lot. Whereas if you don't want that, you just want to stick free and whatever, use Visual Studio. I believe IntelliSense isn't that bad anymore. I don't know. The last time I used Visual Studio was like around December 2020. And yeah, it was like bad for me. That's when I moved away. But I don't think it'll be that bad anymore. If it is, there are ways around it. I'll try and make a video documenting that if I can. But yeah. So you'll want to download your community of Visual Studio. And then you'll get this. You'll want to save this and load it up and then double click that. Don't mind these. Okay, and then that will do your whole installing. I've already got the Visual Studio installer, so I'll just load mine up for you. Right. So this is where you'll have your Visual Studio community thing here. Of course, mine's not up to date and stuff. I don't use Visual Studio, so I don't need to. But I want to show you what to install when it comes to installing things. So, when it comes to installing all the right things for Unreal Engine, you'll need to get, obviously, Game Development C++, Universal Windows Platform Development, and Desktop Development with C++. You don't need the .NET one. I've just had that for a while, so you really don't need that. I could even get rid of it if I really wanted. I think I actually keep it for these .NET Framework things, but I've had issues where I don't have the required ones. If whenever you do anything to do with Unreal Engine and it has an error, do your best to read it. Most times when it's when you're compiling or when you're exporting your game, that will be a video by the way, you'll have an error saying you don't have the right .NET or something like that. It tends to be if you've removed a plugin. That just means download .NET or you haven't got Visual Studio. It tends to freak out. But you should be okay with, I'm going to recommend these three and then Game Development C++. Obviously, if it errors and says it wants more in Unreal Engine, then get them. It's I can make a video on that if needed. But yeah, I guess if you want to have a look at this, you can have a look at this. A lot of these come from your .NET desktop development, so that's why I just have it. And then you can install that. So that's Visual Studio Installer. Once that's all installed, you should be able to just hobble over onto Unreal Engine and mess with your C++. But if you don't want to ever mess with C++, you don't even have to install Visual Studio. However, I do recommend getting Visual Studio because it's just nice to cover C++. And if you ever want to venture into a future career of game development, working for a company, it is heavily required that you know your programming languages. So don't shy away from C++. Give it a shot. I promise you there'll be tutorials on it, so really don't shy away from that. Anyways, thank you for watching this video on how to install Visual Studio and Rider and Unreal Engine and stuff. I know I didn't cover any of the Rider tutorial in like how to use the installer. The installer is just an exe, and then you just click next quite a few times, and that's about it. You also need a code. My code is like one-time use, of course. You know, I need to get that renewed as well. But yeah. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Oh, voice crack. Bye-bye.